Okay, so we have seen nested loops. Now we're going to look at the for else loop. Now this is the last topic. Loops. What is a for else loop? The for else loop is a syntactic convenience. It's not available in Java or C, C++. It's specific to Python. What does the for else loop do? Now, in else is something that you might have observed in the if else statement or if else statements. So it makes sense there, right? Else is something that's executed if the if loop does not work. Meaning if the conditional statement in the if loop does not work, the else part is executed. That makes sense. Now what about the for loop? The for loop goes through big bunch of iterable range and then it goes through all of them until you hit the break statement, right? That's what we have seen. Now, else statement is executed if all of this is exhausted, right? That means you're searching through a huge bunch of numbers and then you found nothing. So do something at the end. Say maybe print not found, right? That could be a good example of using the else statement. But for example, if you found something, like using a break statement, if you found something and broke out of the for loop, then the else statement will not be executed. That's the key. So if you break out, then else statement will not be executed. But if you don't break out, if you fall through the entire limits of the loop, then the else statement will be executed. Now it's think of it like you could achieve the same thing by using flags, but this is a way of doing it without using specific flags. Okay, now we have seen the prime number program, remember whether a number is prime or not. Now this is another way of doing the same thing without using flags. You see, previously, let's actually compare what we have here with what we have over there. Okay, let's compare this with this. So both of them, except for maybe, you don't need this part. So this is where we enter the numbers. Except for that, both of them do the same thing, right? But this is the program where using flags. And this is using for else syntax. Now look at the way this syntax is more compact, right? So this is a compact syntax. Why? Flags are not, in this case, flags are used, right? So this is a flag and that flag has to be checked every now and then, right? It has to be set, reset. There are so many things that you have to do. But in this case, there is no need for flags. That makes the programming compact. So how does it work? Prime range to and so on and so forth, the first and last number. So this is basically the first, last number. And then j in sub range. So if you're looking at the number 34, 2 to 17 or 16. Then over here, see, it's doing the same thing. Let me draw a parallel actually. So this is doing the same thing as this line. This line is doing the same thing as this line, right? And this if statement is doing the same thing as this if statement. And finally, we have another print statement that this thing is doing. Now, what are the things that are missing in the left side part of the program using the for else? So this flag is not required, and this flag is not required, and this if statement is not required, and flag is not. See, it makes things so much easy. So once again, what is a for else loop used for? For else loop is used for, then a conditional, and then you have a loop, right? Somewhere doing a sequence of steps. And else do something else. So this is also another block. The way it works is if you break out, for some reason, if you break out, then else is not executed. If you break out, else is not executed. It goes all the way to the next part. Okay? So that is one part of the story. But if there is no break, if the for loop exhausts, meaning if everything is done, no break statements, then it looks at the else syntax, right? So that's the use of a for else loop. Now, if you want to remember this with an example, think of the prime number example. There are two ways in which we have written the prime number program. The first way is using flags. Oh, first thing, we did not find a prime number. That's a flag. Okay, we set a flag. Now, somewhere in this, we have found a prime number, or we have found a number that is divisible by this number. Then set this flag to false. And if it is false, print the program is not prime. If it is true, then print the program is prime. So instead of using these flags, you can use a for else statement whereby if the program does not break, then do something at the end of the loop. That's what the else statement stands for. If the entire for program has run through all the list of elements in the iterable of the range, nothing has happened, no big break has happened, then also execute everything that's there in the else. That's the purpose of for loop with an else.